Take a look. It's January 8th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. Wonderful Wednesday. Plenty to talk about. No one's getting cheered. No one's getting booed. We're going to drop F-bombs every 30 seconds and see if the censors catch it. Jeremy Lambert is here. I'm here. We got lots to do. We're going to placate our fans, and we're going to spend the next 2.5 hours talking about nothing but what you missed over the last 30 years of not watching professional wrestling. Jeremy Lambert, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm well. Yeah, it's been a long just few days, starting with the Friday 3-hour SmackDown, Wrestle Kingdom, Collision, Wrestle Dynasty, New Year Dash, Raw on Netflix, New Year's Evil. Like now it's finally back to some normalcy a little bit here. Yeah, to Dynamite tonight's just regular Dynamite allegedly, and then TNA, ROH, like it just gets back to a little bit normal now. The sleep pattern isn't quite as messed up. Don't really care about wrestling, honestly. Pretty big basketball game tonight. Thunder against Cavs. That's what I'll be paying attention to. Don't know what else is going on, but Thunder Cavs tonight. Thunder up. That
sounds like a good night. I'll be checking in on Dynamite. I'll be watching and taking notes, doing the clickety clack. Maybe, I don't know. I'm tired too, but I haven't been covering nearly as much as you have. I've been keeping up, but I watch the stuff. If you missed us on Monday, we were on main channel doing our thing. Our main channel Monday takeover was a huge success. Don't ask anyone. We got 50 billion views across multiple platforms, not including.
Oh, okay. I think we were the number one show at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fightful. So
amazing.
Pretty big. Yeah.
Look at us. We're doing big numbers and big things. And the next big thing you can help us with is leaving a thumbs up on the video. Go ahead. Like it. Do it. What?
I was checking, I make the shorts.
Yeah.
I've done well so far.
Some of them do very well. That's right. Most of them do very well.
Well, I'm saying I've done well. I don't really care about the numbers.
Fine.
I've done well in like keeping up consistency. That's what I care about.
That's true.
But I am checking the numbers. This Rock one is at 10,000.
Yeah.
My bold prediction was partially right.
You look at the comments and people are just being weird. So have fun with that.
I don't comment on anything. Are you kidding me?
Shout out to the one guy in the comments of the Death Rizzlers. Short, that guy was like, "This is why you shouldn't be booking the territory," and I'm like, "Sorry, you hate having fun. Like, if having fun is these doofuses winning the trios title, then I don't want to be fun." Like, well, then you're not fun. Have fun. Bye.
People got mad at me. Somebody blocked me on the Sky Blue because I was upset that Rated FTR. They said that this Death Rider storyline is helping the young people. The young talent in AEW. Totally. And I'm like, is it? Like, well, this is just
Andretti is a champion now.
They're like, this is just a detour. FTR and Adam Copeland, it's just a detour in the story. I'm like, okay, maybe it is, but like, this is what's happening currently. And then I think I angered them because they're like, you're getting very angry arguing with me. I was like, this is just a detour as part of my day. And then they blocked me.
Because you didn't take it as seriously as that person did.
This person thought I was being very serious, though. They were like, you care so much about this story. You're arguing all day. I'm like, man, I got like 10 minutes to kill. And that's what I hit him with. Like, this is the detour part of my day. Like, this doesn't mean anything to me. Then I checked like their timeline, and like their whole timeline is just replying to people about the Death Rider storyline. I'm like, you seem to care way more about this than I do. But anyway, continue on. Enjoy. I hope that person has a nice day.
The projection on the internet is crazy.
This person literally said, like, you make me want to stop watching wrestling. Like, your opinion makes me want to stop watching wrestling. I'm like, if my opinion matters to you that much to where you want to stop watching wrestling, honestly, maybe you should stop watching wrestling.
I have never once in my life said these people. Like, okay, I tried this one time when WWE was so bad. We're talking like the 2019, 2020, getting into that part of the year. That I was like, I want to try and be more upbeat and positive about WWE and like find the fun things. And that lasted 2 weeks. I realized, no, the people who were shitting on the creative were absolutely in the right. And I was going to join on. And that's when I became a big fan of Sour Graps when I did, because Alex was absolutely in his element for that. And yeah, it was perfect. But I've never had anyone tell me that they've like stopped watching TNA because I've made fun of TNA or said some shit about it. Like, come on.
Yeah, this person was like, I'm gonna stop watching wrestling. Like, this is why I hate wrestling. I was like, dude, again, like, my opinion that I don't care for the Death Rider storyline with Copeland and FTR makes you want to stop watching wrestling. And maybe you should, honestly, or just stay off the internet. Just stay off the internet if somebody's opinion matters to you that much. Like, you affect my enjoyment. This is what this person said. You affect my enjoyment of the product. Joel, nobody who has an opinion about wrestling should affect your enjoyment of the product. If they do, stop listening to those people. It doesn't mean those people are right or wrong or whatever, but clearly there's something to where it's hurting your enjoyment, and you should not listen to those people anymore, because your enjoyment should not be hurt by the opinions of other people. If you like something, awesome. And we say this all the time. It's like, hey, if you guys enjoy this, more power to you. If you like Triple H standing in the middle of the ring and being like, rah, rah, WWE, and you like The Rock standing in the middle of the ring and being like, rah, rah, Netflix and billionaires, more power to you. That shit sucked.
Yeah, but don't tell Paul, because he hates that shit. He hates being in the middle of the ring as a big giant curtain falls down around him and he becomes the focal point. He hates that shit. Awful. Yeah, sorry, we do have ads on this show, but it's supposed to be every 30 minutes, but it's different for people. You get your ad breaks at different parts of the stream. That's how we work it. That's how some of our money is made. But also, if you subscribe to us, that helps us immensely. And if you donate a super chat, well, that also helps us immensely. And then I don't have to do ads it's every 30 minutes on a 2-hour show, sometimes 2.5 hours. I think a 2-minute ad break every once in a while is fine. Just get ready to that skip button, because they're skippable ads. They should be. I did set them to skippable. If YouTube's messing around with me, we got problems. All right, I'm here for y'all. I set these things up. They've been like 10 minutes? Henry, what are we doing here?
That sounds terrible.
Get an ad blocker. I said it. They are skippable. Perfect. I'm glad. All right. So it's Monday night. We're all sitting down enjoying our TV dinners in Terramana.
TV dinners in Terramana. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's what we do, right?
Maybe I need the mana. I needed to cut the Rock promo like I did on Monday.
Good Lord, no, you don't. Yeah, Nick Khan forces Triple H into the ring before the show starts.
It's so bad.
Says, you get your ass up there and you tell people, are you ready? Even though you've been ready, you tell them how great this show is.
This sucked, man. Like, this was worse than the AEW people doing rah AEW, because at least that's like a wrestling storyline. It's not a storyline that appeals to me of like, hey, let's go to war for the company. This was just two dudes talking about how great it is to make a bunch of money. Like, this serves no one. No one. It only serves themselves. It was so self-serving. The Rock's promo was honestly hilarious, because this dude, all of last year, was one of the most compelling characters on television as the final boss, and the stuff with Cody was really good. And like, it got a little disjointed and everything, right? Like, whatever, because they had to shift plans and the story didn't make full sense. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like The Rock as the final boss didn't rule. Whipping Cody's ass in the rain and the look at you now. That was so good. That was good stuff. Him going 20 minutes on these promos and then 40 minutes on Instagram ruled. All of that ruled. And then he comes out on Raw and he's like, thanks, Netflix CEOs. Thanks, billionaires. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody in the crowd. Sorry, that sounded like Chris Jericho. Hey, everybody in the crowd. Give yourselves a nice big pat on the back for paying thousands of dollars for these tickets. Cody Rhodes, you little dork ass sitting front row. Give yourself a pat on the back for carrying the company and being the champion. Roman Reigns.
And say hi to your mama for me.
Cody's selling that. Like, oh,
So funny.
you're so funny,
funny.
Rock.
Did you see the beard discourse on IG Live?
Yeah.
One of those motherfuckers has to run for office right now with the amount of backtracking and humbling they're doing to each other.
This was so bad. This is so bad. And then he tries to like partially save it on NXT, a show he's never watched in his life. And he's like, I'm 20 steps ahead. Don't worry about what happened with Cody on Monday. Know your role, shut your mouth, enjoy the ride. The long gamer is taking you on. I'm 20 steps ahead. Man, at least the NXT promo was like funny because he clearly has never watched this show. He's like, all the guys and girls in the back, they could be main eventing WrestleMania. Or they could be released in 3 years.
I don't know. So I don't know if you saw this. So Rock did an IG Live on WWE after NXT. I saw the beginning of this. Okay, I don't know if you saw this yet. He goes and he's walking to the back and he runs into Lola Vice.
Yeah, he's like, I could have married a Cuban.
Vice. Yeah, he says, yeah, I married a Cuban. But before that, they're doing the introductions and she's like, hey, I'm Lola, or I think she may have used her real name, Valerie. So she says, I'm the first Cuban-born WWE superstar. And he's like, I know that. The Rock knows that. I know who you are. And he just doesn't know.
He couldn't say one person's name. Like, at least Ethan Page got something out of this whole thing. He was a little, maybe watch the Ethan Page video package beforehand. Like, hey, you're about to do a segment with this guy. Maybe pay attention to this video package and see what he did to Javon Evans' jaw and see what he did to Cedric Alexander's hand before you go do this segment. The Rock could do that. He couldn't say like Trick Williams or Julia or Obafemi. He just watched these people win titles. He couldn't say one thing about them in this promo, but at least it was entertaining. And like, he clearly had a time constraint because he was at the end of the show. He knew he had a time constraint. He's like, The Rock doesn't give a fuck about 6.5 minutes. We're going to go as long as we need to. And literally in the middle of, if you smell. So we had a robbery at the New York casino on Monday.
That's what I was expecting. I was like, you don't cut The Rock off. The Rock's going to read the local news right now. Put a damn table in here. I'm going to sit down and we're going to do the news. Instead, he just very quickly switched it on. And it's funny because he comes out on NXT. They hand him the microphone and the floor director, they very clearly, he's like,
showing him
8 minutes.
The countdown. Yeah.
And then The Rock starts talking. And he's like, "Oh, they say I got 6.5 minutes. I can do this." And I'm like, "No, you can't." But he does because he's The Rock and he can do it. But it's like it's all just flavorless words. It's just, and it was the night before too. The Rock was just there to sell the building out at NXT, and that's fine. He did it, and it's fine because like it was completely. I don't know if they really took anything away from it. I don't know if anyone lost anything from it. I think the matches were of the proper, length. So sure, give him the last 8 minutes, do his shtick. Last 10 minutes. Didn't matter. It was just The Rock being stupid. He doesn't care. He's just there trying to make himself look good.
Him trying to justify like, oh, I was nice to Cody because it's all part of the plan. Like, your plan sucks. It sucked. Him doing that just completely sucked. Like, it was terrible.
That's because you were getting boardroom Dwayne on Monday. You weren't getting final boss. He hugged his kids and it was over. Once
I know. I joked and said that when he gave up the People's title to his daughters, like, that was the babyface turn. You idiots just didn't miss the subtlety and the layered storytelling of the long gamer. because he wasn't the final boss anymore, because the final boss had the people's title. But once he gave that to his kids and the sweet gesture, that was when he became just Dwayne all over again. You guys just don't get it. To me, and I know you put it in the thumbnail, like when he started doing those promos, like, oh, he's not working Mania. There's no way he's working Mania. If he was working Mania, he would have kept up appearances. He would have buried Cody. He would have made some type of reference to the past year and tried to just go full angle there. There was no angle. This was just, let's blow WWE and Netflix. That's what it was.
It was a little bit self-filleting, but he also did one thing right when it came to the character, and that was after Roman Reigns wins back the Olafala, puts it on him, they made it a little tense. In the end, like, Rock didn't do anything, so they at least left that open. But other than that, it was just what it was. It was just Dwayne doing Dwayne, thanks WWE and thanks Netflix. It was representative Dwayne. It was fine.
It wasn't fine.
It was stupid. Don't get me wrong, but like, okay, I said this on Blue Sky, and I really did, like, I was being honest here. I don't have a reason to lie about this shit. I got more messages from my lapsed, non-casual, whatever wrestling fan friends that night than I have in all my years of covering and watching wrestling. They were all asking about The Rock. My friends in Toronto were asking, when's WWE coming back? I'm thinking I want to go. And I'm explaining to them, well, they're going to be at Rogers Center. They're going to be at the Sky Dome. I'm like, oh, tickets are probably really expensive. I'm like, I mean, they might be, but also you might enjoy it. So you could try. They knew what they were doing for the Netflix show. And it's just like when we called it Casual Mania for so long, for those many, many years. And it felt like they were just showing off, look how great WWE is, best business ever, we're super great, thank you sponsors, thank you so-and-so. That's what this was. That was them being like, we're on Netflix now, look how amazing we are, we started in the Smoky Bingo halls and then WrestleMania, now we're on Netflix, woo, we're so mainstream, look at us. That's what this show was. It was 4 matches in a 2 3/4 hour event, and the fans who were there had a good time, allegedly. The fans watching at home, I mean, I could probably guarantee 75% of people who watch shows like ours or watch post shows were like, that wasn't for me, but I can see where the appeal was. It just was what it was. It was just a show that was very self-congratulatory. I thought starting off with like, congratulations, you played yourselves $3,000, each, largest arena gate. You parted with your money just for us. Hooray! That shit was a little hokey, but it is what it is.
I don't even know. I guess it was for the casuals. But if it was for the casuals, what did it do? So I had messages from people who hadn't watched either. Who were, because I was talking to them and was like, oh yeah, did you know like Raw's on Netflix now? And they honestly didn't even know. They're like, oh, okay, cool, I'll watch. And then they're messaging me and they're like, what's The Rock doing? Like, why is he? Because they were paying attention last year at WrestleMania. And I think this is a point maybe people are missing, is The Rock drew a lot of people in last year for WrestleMania, right? So the last time they saw this guy, he was final boss and beating Cody's ass and all this stuff. And if they stopped watching, the next thing they see is now he's just friends with Cody. So either you think you missed a whole year's worth of story, which you didn't, or you're like, what is happening here? That's the messages I got of, hey, I watched last year. I paid attention to WrestleMania last year. That was really cool what The Rock was doing last year. What's he doing now? What is this? What is this promo? I just don't know who this was for. I can't say this was for the casual fans of like, people who've never seen WWE before. They tuned in and they saw this. I think if you tuned in, you saw this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think you had any reason to stick around. I don't think you had any reason to be like, I'm going to keep watching or I'm going to return next week. Because The Rock's not going to be there next week. Triple H isn't going to be there next week. So this was just Barry Horowitz, pat ourselves on the back. It didn't do anything to hook you into next week. It didn't do anything to hook you to the next show. It was just, here's two dudes saying how great it is. They're begging you to stay around, basically. That's all it was. It was on your knees begging you, please watch the rest of the show. Look how great we are. Please keep watching weekly. I promise you we're good. I promise you this is monumental. Just do your show and people will watch if it's good. Like, this is an outrageous comparison. I apologize.
Let's go. Go too far. Let's hear it.
But imagine if just like a television show, like a real television show, just started like this. Like 5 seasons in, the start of the 5th season is, hey guys, our show's really great. We've won some awards. You should watch this show. Let me tell you why you should watch this show. Just do the show. Quit just begging for viewership.
Okay. I also think that they had an entirely different audience than normal. And as a result, they had to basically load up with as many names as humanly possible in hopes that next week people come back. And yeah, there are going to be people who are like, wait, that's not this person. That's not The Rock. That's not Triple A. Well, let's face it. Paul will be back next week to give out that Women's Intercontinental Championship. You know.
Yeah, probably.
There won't, like, John Cena. Will he be there?
No, I don't think he's probably not there until they made it seem like Rumble is the next time he'll be there.
Okay, so he won't be there. Punk will probably be there. Jey Uso will be there. Certain people who were on the show, they will be there. But at the same time, like, you won't see Rock. You won't see, I mean, really, The Rock's the big one. You probably see Seth. I get it. You won't see Undertaker. You won't see, you might not even see Hulk on the 25th of January at this point. Who knows? But like, there are certain people that you saw that you won't see. But I think that the idea that they had no hook for next week is not completely true. They didn't have storyline hooks, but some of the characters you saw, a lot of the characters you saw, you will see again on Monday. So I don't think it's entirely honest to think that, whatever you saw on the first one is all you're going to see for the rest of, or it's not what you're going to see next time.
It's not necessarily that. Yes, you'll see a lot of the people that you saw on this show. Certainly the people in the main event. Roman, I don't know. Roman seems like he's not going to be there until January 25th. Cody might be there next week. Not sure. Like, they gave you some stuff for next week. They announced the Balor and Priest street fight, although we never saw Balor or Priest on this show. They did the Chad Gable and Mystery Luchador. Did they talked a little bit about the Women's Intercontinental title tournament? Maybe.
Yeah,
there was a video package, right?
Video package, yeah. And Lyra and Dakota Kai were both there.
Yeah. So like there was some stuff for next week that they set up. I don't care that Triple H and The Rock were on this show. I don't. You need Triple H and The Rock on this show. You don't need Triple H. Let me be honest. He doesn't need to be on the show. The Rock being on this show is perfectly fine. No problem with The Rock being on this show. It's the content of the promo that did nothing. It did nothing if you were a casual person. He puts over Cody Rhodes. Is that good? Is that worth sacrificing everything that you did last year? He puts over Roman Reigns. Okay, Roman Reigns just did a match afterwards. That is what you're trying to sell with Roman Reigns. The Rock doing the follow Roman Reigns. That was a cool moment. That was fine. But the promo of congratulate yourself on paying a bunch of money. Tell everybody thank you. Tell everybody, the Netflix billionaires, tell them thank you for putting WWE on Netflix. I have more problem with the content, not necessarily who delivered the content. Just, I would have liked this show a lot more if they just started with Roman and Solo, or they started with Cena, honestly, because Cena is at least going to be around for the year. I would have liked it a lot more with that. They could have done The Rock in the middle of the show, and the content still sucked. That wasn't going to change that. But spending the first half hour of just let's pat ourselves on the back, wasn't
I get
for
it.
me.
It wasn't for you, and that's the reminder, is that it wasn't for you. And then next week, presumably,
I don't know if it was for the casual fan either.
It was for people who haven't watched Raw in a while and used to think wrestling was this hokey shit show, and now they see what it's become, and they're like, oh, it's a big business now. By the way, we're going to the murderous regime of Saudi Arabia to go do a pay-per-view next year.
This is where I'm just like, just do your show though. You can tell it's big business because it's on Netflix, because of the production that they put into this show. I don't need you telling me, look how big the sport is now. Look how monumental the sport is now. The show speaks for itself, and they've done a good job of that over the past couple of years, of making stuff feel big. Quit throwing it in my face like I need to be told this. I don't think that's for casual people either. Maybe it is. Maybe these people, no offense to these people, but maybe they're stupid enough and they're like, oh, yes, it really is that big. Oh, yes, I need to be told this. I need to know this. You can see it. You can see it in what they do.
I also think that we are two people who sit here analyzing, watching, spending a lot of time in this bubble of a business. Whereas a lot of the people that we're talking about who may have contacted us don't internalize it the same way we did. They hear, oh, largest arena gate. Wow, that's big. That's a huge number. We know what that means. We know how stupid, like our cynical side is just like, thank you for spending all this money. And it didn't always used to be this way. But for other people who are like, oh, that's neat. They're doing really well. They're celebrating that. I think there were people who were very much a fan of that self-congratulations and making the fans part of it, because it's like the sports world where your team won and thank you. We couldn't have done it without the fans, because they won't outwardly say because you spent all this money on us and we could buy the best players. No, they don't, but it's implied. I don't think WWE needed to say thank you for spending all your money on us, but that's what they were going to do because it's carny. That's what wrestling is. And a lot of people, it goes over their head because they're not paying attention to it like we are, or like the chat does. It's not like our day-to-day, integration of conversation.
I can't wait for the Rock and Cody feud to be about the soul of WWE and who is really quarterback one. Looking forward to that.
Gonna take Cody's tattoo, cut it off, put it in a briefcase. Never to be seen again. Hit a couple super chats. Will Chisholm, someone saying, it pops me that The Rock was at NXT and maybe drunk, and Roman was like, nah, I'm good. Roman was never going to show up on NXT. Let's face it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to happen. But that was the other thing with The Rock that kind of like put me off. And this isn't the first time. The drinking and driving stuff is a choice to air that, where he's drinking mana throughout the night. And then the last shot is him getting into his truck and driving away, implying that he's leaving the building, even though we know better. But like the implication is The Rock has been drinking and driving. And I don't like that has been shown to us multiple times. They showed it to us at Bad Blood. They showed it to us again at Raw during the televised segments too. That part was just, it made me feel dirty. I didn't like that. So Rock is Rock, but I don't like that they're going to be like, yeah, and Rock drinks and drives. No one should be okay with that.
I'm with you. I mean, like, that's what they aired. I don't know. I don't know if people looked into it to that much of like, oh, he's drinking and driving. I feel like they're just like, oh, it's The Rock, so he gets away with it.
I doubt people saw it. Like, I doubt people saw it the way I did.
Were they paying attention? Was it for the casual fans?
Joel? Well, so actually, this is kind of what I'm getting at. They're not in TV world. In some cases, it's dumbed down so much in the shot composition that you need to take the drink and then get in the car. And that's how you denote drinking and driving. They didn't do that. They put space between it. Rock having conversations, Rock taking a walk, Rock doing his shtick, and then he gets in the car in the last shot. it doesn't imply that drinking and driving is an immediate thing, but it doesn't make it better. It just takes your mind off of it as a viewer. You're not being like, why is he drinking and driving? You see him have a drink, he does other things, then he gets in the car. Therefore, it's like seen as okay, or you're not thinking about it.
I think people were way more looking at him snubbing Triple H on that handshake than they were him drinking and driving.
He had done so many handshakes and hugs. They were fine. Leave Paul alone. He didn't even want to be in that shot.
I don't know if people are looking too much into that portion of it, but maybe they are. They probably better off to where you don't even put yourself in that position, honestly.
Yeah. Tenrys is saying it's like if Omega came out thanking Max and WBD tonight. Kind of hope he does. Kind of hope that he does. Oh, now it's starring my super chats. My super chats weren't getting starred before, so now I'm just trying to find them again. But we're back. Tenrys also said it wasn't for casuals, it was for execs and sponsors. Yeah, to a certain degree, it absolutely was. Like, don't get me wrong, but I mean the presentation of the stories, the presentation of WWE, that was for casuals. The thank you Netflix,
we're telling you that this shit's fake.
Yeah, I mean, because again, this was shit that you knew. That part you probably could have left alone, but like Triple H has this weird, like, do I tell them the truth or do I continue being Triple H?
That's where it's hilarious to me is they do this big cold open. It's like 3 minutes long, and they're like, oh, heel, babyface, work, shoot, real, fake. It's just stories. Let us take you on a ride. And then The Rock just comes out and is like, yeah, everything you saw last year, that was all fake. Cody's a nice guy. Cody's been carrying the company. And then he comes back out on Tuesday and is like, let the long gamer take you on a ride. I'm 20 steps ahead.
Could you imagine?
This is why they don't win an Emmy, because the writing isn't consistent.
Meanwhile, Paul Heyman's at a press conference telling people that Roman deserves an Emmy.
Roman should win an Emmy, honestly. That would rule.
Tell him I'll be back on January 27th.
Roman's great. I hope he does win an Emmy.
Right. High tides raise all boats, I guess. People didn't matter to the people's chant, says Henry. That's true. People don't matter. Just the Zoa and the Mana. Drop my pen. Damn it. And Matthew Hook sent us a super chat saying, women got 10 minutes of 3 hours. New era. What a joke. Yeah, I do agree. There could have been lots more put into women's segments, women's matches. Yeah, it was, there were 4 matches to begin with. They could have given the women more. Also, I don't know if people would have wanted to see much more of Rhea and Liv. Another match is different. That's a different conversation. But did Rhea and Liv kind of hit the marks, get in, get out? Or could they have done more? What do you think? Was it the right amount of time for that particular match?
Rhea and Liv had what I feel like the same match they've been having for 2 months now. Like every time they wrestle, it's relatively the same thing of, somebody's going to get involved. And then is Rhea going to be able to overcome this time? And this time she actually did, because she didn't at SummerSlam. It was a DQ with Bad Blood. And then she overcame here. Like, all right, fine. Like the match was fine. It wasn't anything special. Rhea winning, okay. I mean, she's been the most dominant character, female character, certainly, on TV over the past year. So like it's fine. The Undertaker thing, people were mad about. And like, did I think it was a little pointless? Yes. Did I think it stepped on Rhea's moment? Not really, because it's not like this was their first time winning the title or anything. And she was already at the top of the ramp anyway. It's not like he came out while he was in the middle of the ring. And here's one thing especially after hearing her answer in the press conference, shout out to Adrian Hernandez, who asked the question, asked about the Undertaker coming out. She's like, I grew up watching the Undertaker. I was a big fan of the Undertaker growing up, being part of CM Punk's return, being ringside for that, being part of Randy's return, being part of Randy's return promo. We got to remember that something like this, which was relatively inconsequential, right? It's just Undertaker came out, he drove his motorcycle around the ring, he posed with Rhea and then went to the back. Not like he did a 10-minute promo talking about how great Netflix is. It was largely inconsequential type of thing. You got to remember that, like, Rhea Ripley, who's still young, grew up a fan of this person. And it was probably really cool for her. The way she spoke about it, it certainly sounded this way. It was cool for her to like be part of that and to celebrate with him in that moment. And because it was inconsequential, because it doesn't mean anything in the long run, and I don't think it took away from anything. I thought it was cool for her to have that because she seemed genuinely moved by that. So like I was fine with the Undertaker stuff. Like in the moment when he comes out, since I'm not the biggest Undertaker fan, I'm like, oh, sure, what's he doing here? But listening to her in the press conference and seeing like the excitement on her face as it was going on, like, you know what? This is certainly not about me. This is certainly not about like the fans of like, oh, I can't believe they ruined this women's segment or anything. And maybe this is just about like giving a cool moment to Rhea and also getting the Undertaker fans to pop and everything. I was able to take a step back from that one. Like, yeah, all right. Oh, that was cool for Rhea.
I kind of have two mindsets with that. First is Ethan Page got a similar situation with The Rock. That segment meant little to nothing, but it meant a lot to Ethan Page, who is a huge Rock fan, has been for his entire life, and even cut a little promo for socials afterwards about how he's over the moon about it. That those things matter to those wrestlers. You're also not going to get hat and overcoat taker because he's said, I'm done with that. From now on, you see me, I'm going to be Mark.
Got the dong at the very least.
He always had the dong. He did it when
when
he was doing all of his takers had the dong. Even the stupid, you done it now, you gonna made a big mistake. Even that had the dong in it. It's a good song. But you know what would have made the optics worse for Rhea is if she had gotten on the bike and rode off with Undertaker in the back seat, like in what they traditionally call the bitch seat. That would have looked bad. Instead, Undertaker coming out and doing the pose and all that was just like signifying, you know, it's not torch passing, but like it's an endorsement. That's what it was for Undertaker to come out and do that little thing. So to me, that was nothing. If she had gotten on the bike and rode off, would have been funnier if she took the bike from him, said, "This is mine now." And he's like, "Okay, I don't want no trouble." And that's it. And she drives off without him. Otherwise, it was fine.
Yeah. It was for Rhea. It was for fans who popped for the Undertaker and everything. Fine. But again, inconsequential thing on this show.
Roman Reigns beats Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa buried forever, never coming back. He's a big loser. He's been fired. He's done. He's fine. Match was exactly what this was supposed to be. Bunch of horse shit at the end after a bunch of talking at the beginning. These two guys had a walkie-talkie brawl, and then all hell broke loose because it's tribal combat, and Roman Reigns got the win. Surprising? Probably not. What do you think?
Kevin Owens interfering in this was unnecessary.
Made sense,
I get it.
though.
Does it? It?
He always hated Reigns, and it was also kind of to force Cody to come out of the back.
It didn't, but that's why it's unnecessary, because you just said it. It forced Cody to come out from the back. We didn't need any of that. And sure, he's always hated Roman Reigns, but like, why does he like Solo Sikoa? There's no reason for him to like Solo. Solo's part of all of that. It wasn't part of the Thunderdome stuff, but he was still part of the Mania stuff. So, unnecessary.
To me, it's always the idea of the enemy of my enemy is also someone I'll beat the shit out of just because. I don't think he was doing it for Solo. He was just doing it because he's selfish. And he knew that beating up Roman, who is currently on good terms with Cody, would bring out Cody because Cody is the honorable man. And those two are going to have a ladder war very soon.
Okay.
I understand your take. I do. To me, it was like, I get why he did it. Was it a little convoluted? Yeah, of course. But it got him on the show, and it was just to get Cody out there beyond the barricade.
Yeah, Cody had to sit front row while The Rock little brothered him, and then go to the back, and then come back out to save Kevin Owens, or to save Roman Reigns, whoever the hell he saved.
Everybody hates Roman Reigns. That's all that matters. Yeah, now Roman has his Ulafala back. I assume after years of Solo saying, losers don't. What was his stupid saying? Basically, losers aren't
They get
winners.
reprimanded.
Yeah.
Losing has consequences.
Losing has consequences. Well, he's lost a lot, but this was a big one to lose. This might be the beginning of Solo's, decline as leader of the Bloodline. It's been a couple of years. Is it time for Jacob Fatu to take over?
Probably.
Do you do it as early as this Friday? They're in Portland. No, they're in San Jose next week. They're in Portland for SmackDown.
I don't know how quickly they're going to do it. Probably not. Like that might be the Mania matches, Solo and Jacob. But I don't know where Solo goes off of this. Like, he's clearly not. What?
Back to NXT.
Like he's clearly not the guy. Jacob, out of these guys, is the guy. So I don't know where Solo goes. Like it's got to do something. But it feels like he's just keeping a spot warm for Jacob right now.
There's a possibility that Solo goes back to his brothers after a little bit of, tenseness. That he wants to be, he's going to be Solo Uso, but not Solo Uso. He'll be the third brother, and they'll get along for a while or do their own thing.
Maybe he can just go to Kevin Owens and be like, "Hey, thanks for helping me, man."
Get that handshake.
Yeah, Kevin's like, "No problem. I respect what you're all about, Solo."
Give him a big hug. Be like, "Here, you wear red shoes. How about you wear my pink shoes?" And Solo's like, "Too far." All right, and then that's it. Good talk. Then they just split off. It's weird. It's just weird. It's everything. Every interaction between KO and Solo is just awkward. Just awkward on screen for 5 minutes. Like you crawl out of your skin watching them talk to each other. Like watching us talk to each other. John Cena came back. He announced he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Not before he reminded you that he's the biggest loser on television ever in singles competition.
Yeah, he lied. He won a match last year.
Yeah, but it wasn't a singles match on TV.
He still won. I saw him stand with R-Truth in victory.
Wait, you could see him?
Yeah. So he's a liar. At least the Cena promo, it was fine. It was what I expected. He came out and he's like, "I'm going to be in the Rumble." Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that was it. That's all he needed to say. And
I don't know if they're going to give him 17. I actually I thought it was a good promo because it kind of created a little doubt for me. Like, it seems like such a foregone conclusion of, yeah, he's just going to break the record. Now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Cena is just, I'm not saying he's going to lose the entire year. I think that would be sort of pointless. But maybe he has lost the step and he can't hang like he used to be able to hang. And I don't think that's a bad story either.
Does the not the crisis of conscious Cena, but the Cena's a loser, but Cena starts to find his way back, but he doesn't win immediately. But eventually gets his way. Gets to the top. How would you do it? How would you do it with John Cena? Because
don't ask me. I'd have John Cena beat everybody.
No, that's kind of what I was going to say. I was going to say, are you going to have him beat everyone on the way up, or is he going to have some setbacks and some moments of like, maybe I can't do it? What is final year John Cena as a character?
Super Cena all over again. He's going to say, like, I went to Germany like LeBron James, and all of a sudden I feel much better. Funny how that happens. And just, we're doing Super Cena all over again. That's what I'd do. But
let's go.
I'm biased toward John Cena, so,
give me the belt and I beat everyone.
Yeah.
All right. I thought the promo was fine. It was hokey John Cena, but it was also setting the tone for the year. He knows that he has a hill to climb as a big loser who's never won a match on television. And now he's going to go and win matches on singles television. He's going to win singles matches on television. That's how John Cena is going to fix it. And then hopefully his hair looks good.
He should beat Cody next week. Just go ahead and just put the title on John.
maybe Cody loves and respects John Cena so much and feels so bad for him and wants him to have his moment that Cody's like, "Come here, John. I'm gonna lie down for you." And
No,
Cena's just like, "Okay," and he just takes advantage, and that's how Cena wins the title.
no.
Cody's just like,
beat
"Well,
him.
that went against every plan I had."
Just beat him. That's it.
He would beat him by lying down.
Just beat him like in a wrestling match in like 30 seconds. Cody goes for his Cody cutter, and Cena just like catches him and hits the AA, and he locks on his terrible submission where he gives the guy way too much space, and that's it. Cody tapped out.
That's a fun finish that they're gonna go for. Cody goes for the Cody cutter, and somehow John catches him into an AA, like into the fireman's carry to hit the AA. I think they might try to do that.
Cody should be like Will Ospreay and turn as he's doing the Cody cutter.
We talked about that, and you accepted my reasoning in kayfabe for doing it.
Well, then Cody can do the same thing. The reason can be the same thing.
He'd probably catch him as he comes in. He'd probably catch him fall away slam style, and then lift him up for the AA, and then do the thing. It's probably how you would do it. Make it work.
Yeah.
Squash Cody. You people are monsters.
No.
Yeah, it's the FU now because we're on Netflix.
True.
You ask The Rock every 5 seconds is an FU if you want it. Tenry's also added them playing Across the Nation Raw theme was great. It was fun to hear that song. They didn't have the Nickelback theme though.
Rockstar?
No, they had another one. Come on, what was the Nickelback theme? Across
standing in line of clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win. This life ain't turned out quite how I expected to be. Tell me what you want. Nickelback rules. No, don't let anybody tell you different.
I have an entire separate YouTube account just for the Nickelback videos I've watched.
Really? Why? You're so embarrassed of them?
Oh, I just don't want them to show up in my algorithm too often.
Cowardly.
Burn It to the Ground was the song I was thinking of, by the way.
That's a Seth Rollins theme.
No, that's Burn It Down. That's a different song.
Oh. A lot of fires going on.
Pardon?
Good.
Yeah, I know. Our friends over in California, please stay safe. If you need help and support, put it out there. Let the people know, and people will hopefully be able to help where they can, and hopefully you're all able to stay safe during these times, because that's tough. Couldn't imagine. So sending our love to anyone who's affected by those fires. I don't want to. I'm not going to go into the next thing. So instead, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, main events. Good match.
Yeah,
solid stuff. This was. So remember when Raw went to 3 hours and it wasn't.
No,
it was like you can skip the third hour. That kind of became the mantra. Nothing really mattered in that final hour. That was almost what they were going for. Not that the match didn't matter, but that this match was specifically for the fans who were going to stick around for the entire show, which is traditionally you, me, and chat. And that's what this match was. It was a wrestling match, and it was a good match. So I enjoyed it. Punk got the win. Gave some shout outs, including to Chris Bay. For those who are unaware, Chris Bay had a neck injury that happened it was the night after TNA Bound for Glory in Detroit back in October. He has since been out of commission. And of course, we send our love to Chris Bay. There's been a lot of fundraising efforts for him, a lot of support across the wrestling world. But for Punk to say that in his post-match interview, it was nice. Showed a little camaraderie amongst wrestling. But yeah, the match itself was a lot of fun. What do you think of Rollins and Punk? Where are we going?
Thought it was good. I was not surprised. CM Punk won, especially after the report came out that Punk and Reigns talked about for WrestleMania. Figured if that's the match, they ain't having CM Punk lose this thing. So I don't think it's over between Punk and Rollins, but it feels like it's over for the time being. Because if you're going to do Punk and Reigns, not that you have to hurry up and get it on with, because they did a little bit in November and everything, but we're getting closer to Mania. We're just over 3 months away. They got a lot of story to tell with those two. It's not like Roman's going to be on television every week. So how do you get there with a title as well? Because I would imagine there's going to be a title because that's a main event match. And it's got to have a championship. I think you can headline night one between them with no title, but Roman's typically the main event guy night two. And if you don't have The Rock this year, which we're kind of working on the theory now that they don't, like Roman and Punk's the match. Cody and Cena doesn't scream night two main event. That says night one main event to me. Anything involving Gunther doesn't say night one or night two main event. So Punk and Roman says night two main event to me. And typically that's a title match.
Especially because the winner of the Royal Rumble would have the title on the line. Is Cena and Cody a big enough match to be night two's main event? It's Cena.
I just said no.
But why not? Why wouldn't it be? It's the title. It's Cody, who is arguably, the 1B to Roman's 1A. I get it. But then you have John Cena, who is John Cena. Why wouldn't you consider it a night two main event?
If Cena wins the Rumble, you can get there with Cena and Cody. Very easily you can get there with Cena and Cody. I'm just a little, and this is me saying this, I'm a little lukewarm on John Cena right now as the WWE character because he said it himself. He's a giant ass loser. So you can heat up John Cena. It's John friggin' Cena. You can heat him up very quickly and get there to a Cena Cody night two main event. Right now, on January 8th, Punk and Roman feels like a much bigger match than Cena and Cody. Ask me on March 8th or April 8th, maybe I'll have a different opinion. On January 8th, Punk and Roman feels bigger than Cena and Cody.
And that's perfectly understandable given the fact that Cena just came back to declare for the Rumble. Cody he's the champion, but he didn't do anything on Monday as champion. Basically got little brother.
He got quarterbacked. He's the quarterback, brother.
Yeah. And again, Punk did something major. Roman had a major match. Like I could see why, as of today, you would want Punk and Roman as a main event night two match. But to me, like you said, if you heat it up, you can make it a night two main event match. It's big enough. Roman and Punk, this is where it's tough because if the talk of doing Seth and Gunther is that a world title match, that feels like it would be a world title match, but that doesn't scream world title match like main event night one. That's where I would put Roman and Cody or Roman and Punk because it would be a grudge match. They would have to do some sort. Would you do a stipulation for it? Would you do a straight up one-on-one? What's the beyond the storyline? Is there a stipulation that needs to make Roman and Punk next level for WrestleMania?
And if there's no title,
yeah, we're assuming there's no title, and it's just Punk and Roman.
I don't
Can't
think
put the Ulafala on the line because that would be real weird.
Put Paul Heyman on the line.
You think Paul ever gets sick of being put on the line in these matches? Just once, I want to be a regular human being.
I don't think you need to do like some special match, like don't do a last minute standing, God forbid, because they're probably going to overbook it anyway. So you don't need to outright say, hey, this is the thing. It's just relaxed rules type of thing, whatever it might be. But I don't think you need to make it any type of, maybe just like a no DQ type of match. That's like it. But I wouldn't go much further than that with it. But what's on the line? I mean, if nothing's on the line, it's strong enough to main event night one. I don't think night two. I don't think it can main event night two unless there's a title, because they've historically shown night two main event is going to be the title match. Like,
and the Rumble winner as well.
Yes, I did rack my brain a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, that's what they've shown historically for night two. So you got to have a title match for night 2. Look, Rumble winner's getting bumped if it ain't Punk or Roman, but that's the main event. That's main eventing night 2 if there's a title on the line. I don't care how they get there. If there's a title on the line, that's your night 2 main event.
Yes, I fully agree with you. That's more than Cody and Cena. Cody Cena becomes night 1, and then you've got Roman and Punk as a night 2 main event for a title.
Till the Rock comes in, slanging mana and saying, actually, you know what? How about me and Roman? This is what we should do for the Ulafala. And then, sorry about you, Punk. Philip, as Eddie Kingston likes to call him.
Drives in with a Texas Mickey of Terramana in his hand. Henry saying no women's main event. That's the other side of it, is that if they can find the hottest main event match and heat it up to the point where fans make it undeniable that whoever wins the Royal Rumble should have the main event spot, you can't shoehorn it in. You just can't. It has to be the match that people want to see at that show. And if the women's match becomes, or the women's storyline becomes that, then absolutely you do it. But as of right now, again, January 8th, 25, if those are the 2 matches you've got, Cena and Cody, and then Roman and Punk, it's really tough to put another match at all on top of that. Those are your top 4 people right now. And
yeah, we talked here. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and nothing's really changed. Right now, the women's programs aren't as hot as the men's programs. Could that change in 3 months? Yes. But as of January 8th, they don't have anything as hot. Like, the big thing, they culminated the women's stuff. Like, they culminated Ripley and Liv. That was the big feud. Ripley won. What's next? We don't know. Who's going to be next? Who's going to step up? Is it Becky's return? Is it Charlotte's return? There's nothing there yet. Tiffany cashed in. What's next? Nia Jax? Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton ain't a WrestleMania main event. Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton. There's nothing. Again, they culminated the women's stuff this past week. So now they got to find something to heat up and go from there. They got 3 months. Can they potentially heat something up to where it's like, oh, you know what? This actually feels like a bigger deal than this program. Yeah, they can. But as of right now, there's nothing there.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what they do. And again, fans can easily dictate a change. If there's a match or a story with the women that makes it undeniable, then they'll push for it. They'll make it work. So that's where we're at with the women's division. Speaking of which, Becky Lynch did not appear on Monday night. Fightful Select had the report that she wasn't even in the building. My God. She wasn't allowed inside. No, I'm just kidding. That's me being silly. Yeah, but the belief is she's back. She's just not back this past Monday. She'll be back soon enough. How soon is that, Jeremy Lambert? Is it next Monday? Is it the Rumble? When do you bring back Becky Lynch now that it hasn't happened this past Monday?
It depends on how you're going to bring her back. If she's just going to... This is why I thought Liv was going to win and Becky was going to return, because you could keep going with that. If you're going to do Rhea and Becky again, I don't fully love that. We just saw it last year. Becky was losing the last time she was on TV. Rhea's she's the top babyface female wrestler. She's the top female in the company as far as star power goes. Becky coming in and not necessarily undercutting that, but you're working at a face-face dynamic there. I just don't know what it feels like you told that story last year. What's the new twist this year to tell that story? So I don't love it. Can they get there? Can they do something? Of course. That's why they pay 20 different writers to figure this stuff out. But I just don't love Becky coming in that spot. So if you don't have anything for her, if it's not Rhea, then I'd probably just hold off until the Rumble. And maybe that's how you get there. She wins the Rumble, and okay, that's the the twist, I guess.
You could do a little TV feud with Liv. I don't think Liv should lose immediate feud to feud. You would effectively do that in this case, but Becky could come back and be like, I'm not done with you or your little boy toy, your stupid boy toy. Because of you, I was on, I was gone for this long, or I spent time thinking about how I'm going to beat up Liv Morgan and friends. You could do that, but you'd have to, I would give Liv a few victories first, a few story plot point wins before Becky would go after her. So I don't know where Becky lands other than what does she do? Go to the Rumble and that's it. Pile driver finisher saying SmackDown. I doubt it. The Bayley thing was interesting. I didn't see a lot of people talking about Bayley talking to Adam Pearce as if they might be moving her over to Monday Night Raw, which I wouldn't be against either.
Well, everybody, they've been doing all these kind of teases. Cody was talking to Adam Pearce, wasn't he, a couple weeks ago? So everybody's been going back and forth and talk on the people. It will be curious and interesting to see how the rosters get shuffled around here in the coming weeks. Hopefully they get that set sooner rather than later, because I don't need all this back and forth stuff going on of like, oh, the transfer window and everything. I prefer to have kind of like the set roster and just know, because I think that creates more opportunity and more television time for everybody else. Because if you're just going to use SmackDown talent on Raw and Raw talent on SmackDown, well, now you're taking up, Cody's in multiple segments, Drew's in multiple segments, the Usos are in multiple segments. So that's going to take away from somebody else. So I prefer the set rosters instead of back and forth. Bayley on Raw is probably, assuming there aren't too many other changes, a necessary change, because I don't know what else she's doing on SmackDown. She's done the stuff with Nia. She's largely done stuff with Tiffany. You ever go after Chelsea Green in the women's U.S. title? It feels like there's just a lot more on Raw for her for the time being.
Others are pointing out that because Raw's in San Jose, that's her home turf. You can bring her out at least for the transfer window. Henry's asking, did the transfer window close? I don't think it ever fully opened. I think people just kind of opened as they pleased and hoped for the best. They haven't really done much other than the existence of the transfer window.
It's a term they're using to just have people appear on both brands. That's it.
The brand invitational.
In real sports, the transfer window is, you're now on this team. Like, this is your new team. It's not 1 week I can play for this team and the next week I can play for this team. Like, that's not how it works. But that's how they're making it work. And until, again, probably the draft, until they get these rosters set, they're just going to keep doing this transfer window thing. So I don't expect it to end until after WrestleMania, honestly. Like, I think they'll do the post WrestleMania draft as they've done in years past. And that's when they will set these new rosters.
Yeah, seems that way. You got Logan Paul's now on Raw. That's official. And Braun Strowman's officially on SmackDown. That's really been like Gray's dream. That's the only moves that are official. Logan Paul being like, no more side hustles. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, shut up. Moldy ass motherfucker. Anyway. Hey, speaking of moldy ass motherfuckers, Hulk Hogan comes out. Boy, does he ever get the attention he deserved. Woo. He starts talking and the crowd just boos. Good for him. Getting exactly what he wants. They're booing in the chat, as they should. Hulk Hogan tried his best, but everyone knew what was going on.
Do you think this was a setup? Do you think they knew? You think they knew, Hogan might get booed here. Let's bring him out and let's test and see if he gets booed, and let's humble him a little bit. Or do you think they actually expected like a positive reaction to Hulk Hogan?
Good question. I think Hogan knew.
I think Hogan expected to get cheered. I think Hogan 100%.
I think Hogan expected to get cheered. Yes. Okay. Okay. Multiple things are going to be true at once. There's been a lot of talk. Okay. They were in California. Yes. If you want to talk politics, Hogan is the only WWE superstar legend, whatever wrestler that got up at the RNC and said what he said and did his whole MAGA power bullshit with Trump. So he was the one who was most out there. So politically there's that, and people saying he got booed in Tampa too. Multiple things can be true is what I'm trying to tell you. So let me finish my statement. He got booed in Tampa too because this was fresh off, or at least a little closer to when Hogan was very openly figured to be a racist. When the tapes were out, everybody knew, and he made absolutely no amends. He never tried it. He never gave a shit. And every time that Hogan has come out, it's always been in service of Hogan. So people were sick of that shit too. So this is, again, the story is multiple things can be true. I think Hogan thinks that he was going to be booed and loved and everyone's going to love me, brother. It's great. It's a new year and blah, blah, blah. Look what happens when UFC goes to this venue and look who they bring out. Those fans are going to love them. They're going to love me too, brother. I think he just played himself, and WWE was going to be like, we're not going to stop you. I don't think they were setting him up. I just think they said, we're not going to stop you. The problem with Hogan is everything I've added, plus the fact that he's never made amends. He's never been authentic. He's never been himself. He's never been Terry. He's always been Hulk, and he's never put down the gimmick for 5 seconds just to be like, I fucked up. I did some. I said things and I did things, and I regret those things that I said and I did. Instead, his apology, his non-apology was, "Don't get caught, brother." Like, in what world do people think that that's okay? And newsflash, people in that building don't think it's okay. People at a venue in Tampa didn't think that's okay. If he shows up in Texas, don't give me that, they'll be in a red state, so they'll love him there. They won't give a shit there either because they know that he's a racist, old, crotchety shithead. They know that Hulk Hogan is a complete asshole. He's in service of himself. He's never put anyone over in his last years as a wrestler, and before then is a whole other conversation. But there was no reason for him. There's never been a reason for him. And he comes out and he's like, let me tell you about my beer. And it's like, your beer sucks. The only thing good about your beer is that it says American on it, for those who give a shit about that. So what are we doing? What are we doing? He lives in his own world. He lives in his own bubble, and he's going to keep, basically, he's got a humiliation kink at this point because he's going to keep getting that reaction every time he shows up at WWE. Card him out at UFC, and I'm sure they'll be fucking over the moon. Let him go watch another fighter lose that he brings down to the ring. Sure. Have I tried the beer? No, I haven't. I don't fucking care.
I think he expected to get cheered.
He absolutely expected to get cheered. You saw it on his face. Yeah, you saw it in his half march to the back after he finished it. He finishes it. He rips the shirt. The shirt's just hanging off of his fucking pants, and he's just like, "Let's go, Jimmy. Oh, they love me, brother. They just don't know it yet." Like, go home, you old fuck.
Joel's fired up. I love it.
I'm sick of old fucking racists getting any sort of endorsement on anywhere. Sick of it.
I'm with you. I know why I don't like Hulk Hogan. I think a lot of people know why they don't like Hulk Hogan. Other wrestlers who are on this show endorse Trump. Other wrestlers who are on this show openly endorse Trump, did podcasts with Trump. They got cheered. The Undertaker got cheered on this show. So I don't think it was anything to do political wise. I think that played a part. I'm not saying this was it was fully dismissed. But I don't think this was the overall reason. Because again, the Undertaker got cheered. The Undertaker was just as open. Go ahead.
No, I want to. So yes, everything that you're saying is factual. It's true. There's one skewer to the political side of things, and that's, like I said, Hogan went to the RNC, which does exponential numbers in the cable news world than the Undertaker's piddly ass podcast that isn't listened to by as many people as you think. And like, yeah, Trump came on, and Undertaker has never been like rah. I love MAGA politics. He's always been like, 9-line. I wear all my, he wears it, but he doesn't shout it from the rooftops. And as a result, people are like, if you know, but Hogan was up there yelling it from the rooftops at the RNC. Like he was out there putting it out there. So I think for, again, going back to casual fans, there was a certain aspect that were like, he is very MAGA. He is out there. But again, multiple things can be true. So I'll leave you to continue your point.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. My bigger point, because people mentioned he also got booed in Tampa, and this was obviously before he was there with Trump during the first run and everything. Because Tampa was after all of that. I think it was at the end. Tampa was what, 2021, right?
Yeah, because it was coming out of round one of the pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic. So yeah, so it'd been before when they came out, and he still got booed in Tampa, which their beliefs are their beliefs. So I don't think it was fully that. I think your bigger point is, one, yeah, he's a racist. I think that plays a pretty big part in it, and people can make assertions about others. Hogan has outright said, "I'm a little racist." Like, those are his words. Everybody. You can try to judge people on maybe actions and what they've done and make assumptions about them. But Hogan literally came out and said, "I'm a little racist." So there you go. I think the bigger point, maybe not the bigger point, but a big point from a wrestling perspective, from a wrestling realm, Hulk Hogan just isn't exactly anything in 2025. People like to talk about Hulkamania and all of that and everything, but they don't play that up as much as they used to. It's not like Hogan is on TV all, like Undertaker is making appearances for a good little part here. Rock is obviously coming back all the time. Austin still talks up wrestling a lot. Hogan just doesn't do any of that stuff. I think your point of like, people have now just seen through the lies and seen that he doesn't actually like care about the business or anything like that. I think from a wrestling perspective, that's a big part of it, is that people are just, they don't care about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is not this like legend that they want him to be, or that he still thinks that he is. I could be completely wrong on this, because Ric Flair comes in and he still, for the most part, gets the woos and everything. But Hogan just, he hasn't given back to the business. Even Flair, who has his own issues and everything, at least he still speaks highly of certain people and says good things about certain people. Like, he is who he is, and a lot of his comments are very off-putting. I'm talking strictly wrestling perspective. Flair wants to wrestle. Flair wants to give back to the business in whatever way Ric Flair is going to give back to the business. Hogan just doesn't. He doesn't do any of that stuff. And the lack of remorse on top of everything plays a part in it too. So look, I think Joel's completely right in what he said. He said it in a very mean way.
Good.
Once
in a while we can flip-flop on our presentation.
I think you're right, though. I think it all plays, like, it's all a factor in this. It's not just one thing. It's not. Like, I think there's a lot of factors that go in. Maybe there's more weight into one thing than the other, but there's a lot of factors, and they're all negative. Like, there's no positive here of like what Hogan is doing. It's all negative stuff.
There will be a time when Hulk Hogan leaves this plane, and there will be a lot of conversation about how do you not just separate the art from the artist, but also how do you celebrate his contributions to pro wrestling? And there will be some. Do not ever get us wrong. There are things that Hulk Hogan gave to wrestling that are undeniable, yada, yada, yada. But there's so much bullshit since then over the last few years that I don't think you're going to spend nearly as much time eulogizing him as you would pick a different guy. There's just,
It's
the business has passed him by.
Well, yeah, but now
But
people
like,
are
but
so.
you can argue, but like you said with Flair, like Flair is also kind of a garbage bag human being himself, but like he's at least kept up a little bit, and he's had to because he's got a daughter who is one of the top women in the entire industry. You got to know a little bit. So he's had to, by force, he's had to keep up. He's not a promoter. He's not out here booking territories on his shows or anything like that. But he's aware. He had some time in AEW. He's a little aware. Hogan is just not. He doesn't know. He lives in his 1985 brother bubble, and that's it.
I was just gonna let that breathe. That was good. It's gonna let it breathe.
Use it for the shorts.
The brother bubble, he said. I ruled.
I did see the Pat McAfee skit. It was hokey. It was Pat and his pals having a good laugh. There's no one's gonna get upset at Pat for doing that. He had fun. He had fun at the reality of the situation. And that's it. Because people were asking, like, is Pat gonna face any consequences? For what? For what? They had fun. They're the most unserious people in the world.
Yeah. What are the consequences? Here's the thing. Pat McAfee means more to WWE in 2025 than Hulk Hogan does. So no, he's not going to face any consequences. Hogan hasn't been on that television show. He does like one promotional ad a year for them. They don't need Hulk Hogan. I'm not saying they need McAfee. They got a good announce team outside of McAfee. But McAfee is a weekly, daily television personality who speaks highly of WWE and his time and everything he does in WWE and has WWE guests on his show. His show does millions of views across multiple platforms. He means way more than Hulk Hogan does in 2025. So no, McAfee's not going to face any repercussions for that. They probably told him to do it. They probably was like, I don't know if McAfee asked or not, but I'm sure if he did ask, obviously he was given a green light, but if he didn't ask, he's not going to face any repercussions.
Be welcome back on Monday night and said, funny. That'll be that. Michael Cole will be like, come on, buddy, let's get on top of the table. Yeet!
Travis Scott was the star.
That ruled.
Of WWE RAW on Netflix. So I thought Michael Cole was throwing to him to like perform. Because they do they're doing the song, and Michael Cole's like, here's Travis Scott. He performs the Monday Night Raw theme song. I'm like, oh, he's throwing to a performance. And Travis Scott looked in a whole different world with his drink and his smoke. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. And he was on one. Oh, it ruled.
It's really funny because I was thinking the same thing, but I also had a different context for it, which makes me laugh every time. I was listening to someone on PW Torch just talking, and they were like, they were doing the rundown for Netflix, and they're like, and I think they said that Travis Scott's going to perform. It's like, no, they haven't. No, they have not. Unless something is completely over my head that I've missed. That's not. And then they did the thing where they introduced him. I'm like, oh shit, was that random dude right? And then they did it, and I was like, oh, I'm not crazy. It's fine. We're good. But yeah, that was fun. And then bringing him out with Jey Uso was the perfect combination.
Oh, it was smart.
It was great. Yeah.
It was very smart.
Jay's over. He does the intro through the crowd, having Travis Scott come through with him. Like, it was the synergy was there. And you had those two hokey ass old white dads and standing on the announce table, making sure it doesn't break, having a ball. It was good. It was cutesy. It was silly. It worked out. I was very happy for that moment.
I mean, it's a shame that the match wasn't all that great, but what can you do?
Yeah, eventually we'll have the conversation about Jey Uso in main event matches versus main event presentation.
Jey Uso should just beat people with the super kick in 2 minutes.
Yeah, let him do the super kick. Get out of there. 1, 2, 3. No roll ups for him. Match was what it was. Can't tell you it was good. Can't tell you it was bad. JG wanted to hit the blunt bomb.
Oh, he did. Yeah, his post. I was cackling at his press conference. He didn't do the press conference. He did just the stand up with Big E and Barrett and Tessitore, and they were talking about it. And he's just like, "Oh, there are kids around." And Tessitore's like, "Yeah, the smoke is going through the kids." And Jay's like, "I was trying to get it my way." He's like, "I couldn't inhale it. No, I can smell it. I can smell it." And then at the end, like they're trying to like wrap up and everything. And Jay, you just see this look on his face, like, "Next time, let me hit it." And he's just like looking around, like, "Can I say this? Like, is that okay?" He's like trying to like almost apologize in real time, like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." But like he also clearly wanted to take a hit off of it. Oh, it was so good.
Thank you to Will Chisholm for that super chat. It was a very funny moment. And then Drew tweeting out, it was a contact high, and that's why he lost the match. That's cute. It's fun. Cyclops better than Wolverine sent a super chat saying, "Who needs Travis when you have the Pointer Sisters?" Buddy, I'm so excited for tonight. I just can't hide it.
That's gonna be the song tonight.
It's gonna be so funny. You think they're gonna have it tonight? Yeah, they will. Absolutely.
They're not gonna just give up on it after 1 week.
So
AEW drop a storyline like that.
When the soul of AEW was stuck in 1982, when I was talking to you last week about the Travis Scott stuff, it was probably after the first Pointer Sisters rollout. We talked about Triple H and Poppy, and then how he basically just goes back to his girls and asks who's cool, and Travis Scott comes out this time. I saw a friend of mine who's also a big wrestling fan, actually, but it was unrelated because his kids aren't big wrestling fans. One of his kids just had a birthday, and he was it was one of the happy birthday posts, and in the post the kid's wearing a Travis Scott hoodie. So like it's there. The kid is like he's a teenager. So for me, I was like, this basically sums up everything we talked about on the show.
See, this is the type of stuff. This is where I go back to my point earlier of just show me the cool stuff that you do and that you are cool. You don't have to throw it in my face that we are cool. This Travis Scott moment was the coolest thing on the show. And it didn't have to be, I didn't need The Rock to come out there and be like, "Look, everybody, it's Travis Scott smoking a joint. Listen to Fiend play through the speakers. How great is this? How great is Netflix for allowing us to do this? Everyone say thank you to Netflix, and thank you to Nick Khan, and thank you to Paul Levesque." No, you just do it. Do the cool shit.
420 Mania is going to be wild.
Oh, Travis Scott's going to be there.
He's got to perform for that one. Give him everything he needs.
Should have come in and just kicked everybody's ass on the show. Just stacked everybody.
Braun Breaker?
Macaulay Culkin, the most over guy in the building.
Do I have a hat? I don't have a hat.
I got one. Hold on.
Yeah, you do the thing.
My abs hat.
Yeah, let's go. Macaulay Culkin doing his best wrestling intro ever. Just fantastic. The man rules. He was the best.
Dude, he was so over too. That's a big pop of the night. Macaulay freaking Culkin.
Good.
They're calling him back already. They're like, "Macaulay, come on. Can you show up every week? Who do you want to work with?" I saw Damian Priest take a picture with him. Who do you want to work with? You want to be Damian Priest's manager? What can we do? What can we do here?
I want to beat Damian Priest.
Like, all right, fine. You want to beat Damian? Okay. Whatever you do, Macaulay.
Damian, come over here. Yeah, what's up? You want to lose to Macaulay Culkin? You know what? Yeah, I do. Let's go. What do you want to do? Steel cage? All right, steel cage.
If they could get Macaulay they got Bad Bunny for a match. I ain't ruling out. If Macaulay wants to do a match, just do a Home Alone style match. So a bunch of gimmicks and everything.
Hasn't he done some sort of training?
I don't know about that. I feel like Kieran has. I don't know about Macaulay.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Kieran.
Yeah, I think Kieran has.
It's so wild. Like he's made so many comments.
It is insane that like maybe because they're coming off of Christmas and Home Alone's obviously big in Christmas. Like I don't feel like Macaulay Culkin's this like super prevalent star in 2025, right?
Macaulay
What is
Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin? Yeah, like what is he?
The other
done?
brother's been doing stuff.
Yeah. Kieran still he's just in some movie.
I think it's just known that Macaulay Culkin is
just
a wrestling fan, and so like that crowd knows, but also like Home Alone, good enough for people.
that Home Alone aura, man. That shit carries.
He's also been lauded in Hollywood, but also like in society as like someone who just didn't suck as he grew up as a child actor. Like he didn't have nearly as many issues, and any issues that he had, he's kind of come out of. He's married, he's got kids, he has like he's outwardly fun, at least according to socials. Like that's whatever him and his PR team put out. It's fine, I get it, but like, yeah, he just seems to be a relatable dude.
He rules.
No.
It genuinely popped me how like big of a reaction he got. Good on him. We love the Macaulay Culkin around here.
And he's been on Raw before.
He was wearing the same jacket. He was wearing the same jacket he wore 15 years ago.
Good for him. But yeah, he's a likable fella, and I think that's enough for people. So yeah, is there anything else from Raw that we need to touch on?
I don't think so. I don't remember. No,
that wasn't really a lot.
We should praise WWE and Netflix more.
I will say this. So I got a Netflix subscription for the first time in many, many, many years. And as I'm getting ready for it, I was like, I don't know if I want to get the $5 Canadian, the ad supported one, or the $16.50 one. And I was going back and forth. And then I saw the stars that says live events will carry advertisements. I was like, oh, well, then this shit doesn't matter. I'm getting the cheap one. So I get the cheap one. Raw, no ads. Wonderful. Love that. NXT had ads, but it had an ad break. And it was 3 minutes of a wrestler posing in the ring or, at events, and with "we'll be right back" going across the screen in different languages, and a countdown clock, which I appreciated because I knew when to come back and watch the show. $5, I'll take that over what I used to pay Sportsnet. So thank you, Netflix. You've made my WWE viewing experience cheaper. Will Chisholm saying, and Topanga got the second biggest pop. Huge wrestling. Yep.
No love for Eric Matthews, though. I was a little put off by that.
He doesn't need it. It's fine. He doesn't need it.
Play with girls? You can't show some love with plays with girls?
No. The Kay Adams being there, tweeting through it, and then saying wrestling fans are so nice and so welcoming. And I'm like, give it a week.
Top Dollar had to hold back so many comments on that. AJ was just ready to be like,
can I show you my DMs?
Yeah. He's like, let me tell you about wrestling fans. Bless Kay Adams. She's new to it. Yeah, they're being nice now. Most of them. I read some of the comments, and some of them were like, they weren't. They're of course like, oh, you want to watch real wrestling? Watch AEW. It's like, all right, dude. Just let her enjoy. Just let her enjoy it.
Exactly. Just like Kat Dennings. You're gonna have that situation again. Kat was like, oh, I like this wrestling. And everyone's like, no, you don't. You're not a real wrestling fan. You gotta watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Whew. All right, back to it. Will Chisholm also sent a super chat saying it's nice to see all three brands get new champions. Oh, new women's champions, I should say. There were also 3 new champions crowned last night on NXT, but Julia versus Roxanne was good. Let's talk about NXT. Woo. Good show. Fun show. I thought it was the better of the 2 shows from the last 2 nights. Just more cohesive.
Well,
first hour, all women's matches. First hour. Second hour, let's bring on the men. It was a good show. I liked it.
It was you know what this show needed? Is Shawn Michaels coming out at the very beginning and being like, we had a great show on Netflix last night, but now it's CW here at the Shrine in Los Angeles. Thanks to all the CW executives. home of Gossip Girl and Archie. Riverdale. That's what I was thinking of. I just thought of Archie.
Archie Comics fame.
That's it. Just The Rock tried at the end, but the Rock's promo on NXT was so much more hilarious than his Raw promo. His Raw promo was just too much pat on the back. His NXT promo was much better because he just clearly didn't know what was going on, and he's like, "I'm just gonna go out there and wing it." Ruled. Julia winning the title. Feel like that's a good call there, and it feels like Roxanne's probably Rumble call up. She's gonna be in the Rumble, and then she's gonna be main roster. After that, I don't know what else she's supposed to do in NXT. It's just not much for her. She's done everything. And Obafemi winning was a little bit of a surprise. I thought Eddie Thorpe was basically going to be in this match to take the loss. Trick was going to pin him, and then Oba was going to make the claim, "You can't beat me," and that was going to be stand and deliver. Like, it still could be stand and deliver, Oba and Trick, but Oba beat Trick. Like, he not only beat him, like, he had him pinned off the first powerbomb when Eddie Thorpe pulled the referee out, so you could make a claim that he was going to beat him there. And then he just straight up beat him. Like, he powerbombed him and he pinned him in the end. So Eddie Thorpe wasn't a factor. He was a factor because he was there, but like, he didn't take the loss here.
So it feels like Oba and Eddie at Vengeance Day in February, and then Stand and Delivers Trick and Oba one more time.
Maybe. Yeah. Could see it.
Other than that, if you have a new number one contender for Stand and Deliver, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't mind this being the end of Trick and the Chase, because this seems to be what they do with Trick, the last couple of times. Win the title, keep it for a minute, lose it, get back heat on the Chase, pick it up. His title shot, or his title wins have not, or his title reigns have not been enlightening. They've been fine, but like, Trick is better when he's chasing, in my opinion. Oba winning was the right call. That's what I expected. I have been calling it since Iron Survivor was announced.
I don't want to say Trick wasn't given an opportunity as the champion because he had 2 title reigns. I don't think he got, outside of Ethan Page, who he worked with, an extended period of time. Like, he worked with Ridge Holland. After that, they did the double pin with Eddie Thorpe. He wasn't exactly working with great heels. No knock on Eddie Thorpe. I think Eddie Thorpe's done well in his role, but who was Eddie Thorpe before they elevated him to this spot? He wasn't really doing much of anything. Ridge Holland is Ridge Holland. Like, they're, and the first title reign was just, it was an elongated feud with Ethan Page where they traded the title. And like, that was good, but it probably overstayed its welcome a little bit. And then after Ethan, they just had they didn't have anybody great for him to work with. I think Oba would have been somebody who we could have really worked with and maybe elevated that title reign. So I'm not going to fully be like, Trick Williams' title reign wasn't great. I don't think he had the best people. He did the stuff with Bully Ray, and he got pinned in a tag match and all this stuff. Like, they didn't exactly give him the best material to work with as champion.
That's fair. Oba, I love being like, nothing happened with Eddie Thorpe. I did it. I beat him up.
That ruled.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that absolutely ruled.
Like, it was just like, okay, and that's that. It was a good match. It was a fun main event. New NXT champion was not a shock to me. I know for some it was, like you were talking about. They could have extended this into Stand and Deliver or even Vengeance Day, but I think they made the right call. Just crowning Oba, making it wasn't definitive. They're going to have some sort of talk about, Eddie Thorpe getting involved, and he was supposed to be in the match and then he wasn't. Like I said, that'll probably be the Vengeance Day match. And then if they go back to Trick, they will, or Trick's going to be like, I'm cool. I've done everything I can. Better man won. We'll see you up there, big man, or whatever. There'll just be some sort of goodbye. Maybe Trick will come out next week and that'll be the end of it. Or Trick has a match that's non-title at Vengeance Day, and that's the end. They're going to put over somebody else on the way up. So that's typically what they'll do.
Yeah.
But also, Julia won the women's championship at the top of the show. I like that this was the opening contest because you start off hot, big hot title change. Julia's been after it for a little bit. Solid match. I liked it. It was not my favorite match between the two, but I thought
I've only had one other match.
Yeah, like I said, not my favorite match between the two. I like the first one better. The finish was just kind of, I don't know. The finish felt a little there. I don't know what I was expecting. It happened. They didn't feel like it built to that moment, but they did it, and people are excited, so that's good enough. I think Julia is going to be a really solid tentpole figure for NXT, and Roxanne deserves her flowers for literally running that division for as long as she did. So we'll see where she ends up.
I like this match better than the first match.
Okay.
I thought there was they clearly built up chemistry over the past few weeks because they've worked some live events together, and they worked the tag team match at Halloween Havoc and everything. So they've been in the ring against each other a fair amount of time since the first match, where it was not only their first match together, it was Julia's second TV match. She had the short match against Chelsea, and then she went right into the title match. Julia just looked a lot more comfortable in this match compared to the first match. And Roxanne is Roxanne. She's always been very comfortable on TV and in the ring. So yeah, I thought Julia looked better in this match compared to the first match. I don't think the first match was bad by any stretch, but I preferred this match.
Jeremy Lambert, Barry's first match between former NXT Women's Champion and current NXT Women's Champion.
I say you buried the second match.
Shut up. Stephanie, this I didn't like. So Stephanie Vaquer wins the 4-way for the
This sucked.
So she wins the 4-way for the Women's North American title, and then later on Fatal Attraction has a match against Shotzi Tatum and Gigi Dolan, in which Shotzi pins Fallon Henley, who is the North American Women's Champion. And then backstage later on, you've got Vaquer and Ava's congratulating Stephanie Vaquer for the win. And then Shotzi's like, whoa, hold on. I pinned the North American Women's Champion. Oh, Fallon Henley's there too. And she's like, I deserve the title match. Fallon's like, bye. And she walks away. And they made a match. They're like, we're going to just have another number one contendership match. What are we doing?
This was dumb. Just do a triple threat. Maybe they didn't want to do another triple threat if they just did a triple threat. But then don't book Shotzi to pin the champion in that case. Have Shotzi beat somebody else in the match.
I just would have let Shotzi get the shot, and then Stephanie's still number one contender, so it doesn't matter who the champion is. Stephanie shouldn't care. Stephanie Vaquer should just be like, I don't give a shit who it is, as long as I get to beat one of you for that title.
I wouldn't give Shotzi this shot. I mean, once she pinned the champion, then yeah, it made a little bit more sense. But I wouldn't have had Shotzi pin the champion. I would have just had Shotzi beat somebody else in the match. And then you could have done, because I don't know if Vaquer is going to win the title. Maybe she is. But it was so dumb to do a number one contenders match and then do another number one contenders match. Just do a triple threat. Or don't have Shotzi pin the champion. Just have her beat somebody else in the match, and then she doesn't have as well of a claim. Then you could do Vaquer and Henley, and maybe you do a schmoz finish off of that. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But it was so stupid to do a number one contenders match. And then, anyway, next week, another number one contenders match. What are we doing?
It'll just be a schmoz finish, and it'll be a triple threat at Vengeance Day.
Probably, but that's still dumb. You could have just done a triple threat off of this. You could have just done, she won the number one contenders match and she pinned the champion. We're just going to do a triple threat match. That's it.
Yep. Hey, listen, chat, you're not allowed to talk about the final boss like that. Get your sweet ass out of here. That was The Rock to Ethan Page, not to his daughter. That would have been weird.
Yeah.
And Lexus King won the Heritage Cup by hitting a guy in the dick with his head.
Yeah, they've been doing that little spot. So it's a cool little spot. I gotta give him credit for it.
I love it. That's how every wrestling match should be won. You hit him in the dick, you win the match.
I know that's your favorite finish.
That is my favorite finish. Saw it happen. I was like, that's it. That's the finish. Referee isn't going to call the match. We're going to finish it right here. And that's all Lexus King had to do. Hit his finish. 1, 2, 3. Give him that Heritage Cup Championship. I love that they're like, this match is being contested under sudden death rules, and I'm like, there's no, there will be no rope break counts. There will be no rounds. This match has no time limit, and I'm like, so it's a regular match, is what you're trying to tell me.
It's just a regular ass match.
It's a regular ass match. NXT was fine. Then The Rock comes out and says words. Doesn't even put over NXT other than
he put over everybody in NXT. Everyone.
Because he knows everyone. That's right.
Anyone could main event WrestleMania in 3 years, or they could just be released. We shall see. I think I was like, but it all depends on how you react. He's putting it on the fans of like, it all depends on how you guys react. If you want to see this person in the main event, make sure you react for him. If you want to see them released, make sure you just sit in silence.
I think it'd be very funny. Just feel like from now on, Florida sits in silence. That's how they do. Oh, I really wanted The Rock to be like, big Dante Chen guy. Love Dante Chen. Let's bring him out here.
That's a good, like, obscure person. I was thinking of like, who's like an obscure NXT wrestler that The Rock could put over, and Dante Chen. I don't know if I even like beat that, so I'm not even gonna try.
Someone was like, so I forget who it was, but they were like, you think The Rock came back and said, where's that Kona Reeves guy? He cracks me up.
I was waiting for the bury Shawn Michaels. That was the biggest thing that I was waiting for. Is
we didn't see Heartbreak last night. There was no Heartbreak. We saw Nick Khan, for Christ's sake. Rock was like,
Triple H was on this show too.
I love how it's like Rock was like, if I got to do this pissant show, you're coming with me.
Well, no, this is the show that you've wanted to be at. Raw is the show that like you kind of have to be at. This is the show that you wanted to be at.
Did everyone get a free bottle of mana? Is that what's going on?
Oh, Rock ain't CM Punk levels out here. It's a lot of mana.
That'd be very funny. See, if they did CM Punk and The Rock, 1 week CM Punk gives out ice cream bars. Next week, Terramana free flowing in the streets.
Kind of like ID everyone as they leave the building. Like, are you over 21? No.
Rock's out
as they leave, you definitely can't do it as they leave either. It's like coming in, because then like you can have a drink at the show. You can't leave. I mean, I guess The Rock is. That's what The Rock's
on a
drink
and then get on a scissor lift. Rock's on a scissor lift with a megaphone, just being like, "You there? How old are you? 21. Good enough. Give him one."
That's how you get in trouble. You can't give people drinks as they're leaving the building to get in their car, Joel. We had this discussion.
The Rock can do it. I don't like that he does it.
That reflects poorly on The Rock. Reflects poorly on him. You can do it as they enter the building. Yeah, everyone. The Rock just comes out. He's like, everyone, get your mana. Let's toast. Toast to NXT. We are NXT. Drink the mana. Sorry, I don't have my mana here, everybody, to complete the bit here. Sorry.
Got Papa H. Now you're gonna have Uncle Dwayne. The whole family's coming to NXT.
Grace, you can't drink, sir. That's Roxanne Perez. That's the NXT Women's Champion.
She's like 16, so it's fine.
Just like The Rock doesn't know who she is, though. Like, oh, you're not allowed to drink. Like, sir, that's
Roxanne Perez. Of course it is. The Rock knows who that is. I'm just playing a ribbon on the square. Where's Lola Vice? Bring her over to me. I want to talk to her about Cuba. Gonna go share a cigar with this girl. She's so great.
Oh man, bless The Rock. We're never gonna see him on TV again.
That was basically him coming out and being like, see you next year. Peace out. Bye.
Long gamer, baby. Long gamer. He's got to be like they're still filming live action Moana, right? So it feels
there
like
are reshoots coming up too.
Yeah, so it feels like he's still like filming stuff.
Yeah.
And make sure The Rock doesn't, tear anything.
Abductor muscle right off the bone.
Abductor.
That's what it was. That's what got him at once in a lifetime.
Right.
And they were like, nope, can't do that again. And he's like, no, we'll see about that. Twice in a lifetime. So now he's got to do it again so we could do thrice in a lifetime. Got a super chat from Ten Ruza. Love to Wale. Can't wait for Dynamite. Omega LFG. Should talk about Dynamite tonight.
Sure.
The stepson of all simulcasts. because it's the second one.
Why isn't stepmother, step host?
The stepmother was Saturday for Collision.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no preview up on AEW.
Oh no, are they slipping?
They're slipping. They don't care. They got the money. They don't need to do it anymore.
Oh shit.
Man, very sad.
You know what's like actually kind of sad about this website? And I didn't notice this.
Let us count the ways.
Oh, sure. I didn't notice this, but like under press, like the last thing is Big Boom and QT Marshall. You telling me there's been no other press since Big Boom and QT Marshall? You've announced nothing else?
They couldn't. I don't know who lays out the website. They could have picked anything else as that third tab. Like news isn't even news. It's just results. So news could just be results. Yeah. Photos are photos. I'm glad. Like they should have all media up there, to be honest. And then like you could do previews, but it's not good. I don't love the layout of their website.
I think wrestling in general does poorly with websites. Because like most indie promotions don't even have a website. And if they do, they certainly aren't like keeping up to date with it. Everyone just assumes like, oh, they'll just find it online. They'll just find it on social media and everything. I think a lot of wrestling promotions can do better with their actual websites. TNA actually does a fairly decent job. And I think MLW is good because they send out a press release on everything. Like it does not fucking matter.
Press release, new match. Did you see the TNA Survey Monkey that they sent out?
I saw a little bit. I didn't like fully dive into it, but I did see it.
Before we get to the Dynamite preview, I have to bring this up. The TNA Fan Survey 2025. We want to hear from you. Tell us, capital tell us, your thoughts on TNA wrestling and the professional wrestling.
Should we fill this out on air?
No, because I want to tell you how stupid this is. By the way, hashtag the beginning is near. That's almost as bad as complete my mission, but here we are. It's a 4-question survey, by the way, and it is the most vapid, pedantic bullshit you've ever read. Question number 1.
Hold on, no.
You bringing this up thing?
Yeah, let's fill this out on air, Joel.
Sure, why not? It's content. Don't let TNA know that I actually filled this thing out because I sure as shit didn't want to yesterday.
Did you actually like fill one out?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because I looked at it and I was like, "This is the no one's gonna." First of all, no one's gonna read this. Third of all, it's just not.
All right, everyone.
Question number 1. What is currently missing in professional wrestling as an industry? Like, what is this? And the answers are better and or more storylines, quality matches, more superstar talent, more cross promotion, or other. Please specify. You see, this is where I would go other and say too much Tessa Blanchard in TNA. And then I'd move on to the next question.
We're not going to fully do that. We are going to keep this in the spirit of In the Weeds, though. We're going to go other. I'd say less wrestling.
More TNA interviews.
Need more death. TNA actually does well on that, but like, feels like they could do more.
They do death better than other wrestling.
Yeah.
Because at least when you're off, you're off.
Yeah. All right. What matters most to you? Superstar talent, cross promotion, quality matches, good story, and or surprise, or other. Oh, I got to pick 2.
Yeah, you got to pick 2. So other, please specify. Not having racists like Tessa Blanchard on my product.
I don't want to pick 2.
So the easy ones that they're expecting are quality matches and good story and surprise.
Yeah, I don't care about quality matches. Other, more bad matches that make me laugh. And we'll go with superstar. Like, who's a superstar talent though? We'll say good
Nick
quality.
Nemeth.
Good story and or surprise, since I'm forced to be picking 2.
So fucking stupid.
Okay, here we go.
Number 3. Where do you keep updated and or watch TNA wrestling? Please check all that apply. Sorry, they don't say please. Just I'm a Canadian. Social media, TNA Plus, Access TV, YouTube, news sites, TNAwrestling.com. I don't because I am not in. I don't because I root for the but I root for the company.
But I just root for the company, but I don't check up and stay updated. I just yay wrestling. I wish I could put like our website. I wish I put like only Fightful, best $5, soon to be 6 in the business.
Like, first of all, you just touted how much of a big deal the Sportsnet 360 deal is. Like, make Sportsnet 360 one of your options, for Christ's sake.
All right, I'm gonna be truthful. I keep up with all of these.
You keep up with Access. Don't lie. No one watches Access TV. Take that off right now.
I watch Access through how I watch wrestling.
That doesn't count. Remove it.
I think they have the Access feed.
Remove it right now.
Fine. What if I also click I don't because I'm not interested, but I also...
Well, I think people would know where you work at that point. If you're giving away your
I'm gonna click it anyway.
And so the last one, this is my absolute favorite TNA style question ever. What would you like more of or different from TNA wrestling? You notice how they don't say more of or less of in TNA wrestling? They want you to say more or different, because if you give them the option of more or less, I can say less Tessa Blanchard on TNA wrestling, and instead I have to say I would like to see more of less presentations of racists in Tessa Blanchard in TNA wrestling.
Say different people instead of Tessa Blanchard.
Different people not named Tessa Blanchard.
What's weird is like, what would you like more or different? Isn't that like the first question is what is missing? Like
they updated it. So it used to say, hold on, someone had a screen cap in our Discord.
Okay.
It was, so number 3 used to have that question as one of the answers. So it used to be, but I root for the company. And then under that, the next checkbox was, what would you like more of or different from TNA wrestling?
Oh, so the whole was set up wrong. Oh, okay. What would you like more of or different from TNA wrestling? Less. This is awesome. Chance. Just like censor them. I don't know how you do it, but just do it. Less wrestling in general. Who could possibly care about like wrestling matches? Shorter matches. AJ Francis rap battles.
Let's go. Let's bust it open, more in the weeds.
JBL should win the title and beat everyone.
Except for a big surprise return from Hardcore Holly.
Give interviews to In the Weeds again. What else? What else do we have here?
That's it. It's 4 questions.
No, am I done? Is this it?
I don't know. Sure. I don't.
All right.
Stupid. At least they didn't ask for your email when you press it.
Oh, it's just okay. It's just fan survey. It's gonna have my I wonder who filled this out as we did it live on air. There we go, everybody.
Someone's gonna find it. They're gonna be like, I think I know who this is. Let me look for the VOD.
I'm not hiding from it.
Sean's gonna get a fucking.
Yeah, I know.
What are your
I'm gonna get in trouble?
We're like, no, they wanted fans. Fans interacted, and we gave the fans answers.
I would have filled it out the same way if I feel we did a service to TNA because now we have let people know that they can go and they can fill this out on this own. This is publicity for them. You're welcome, TNA.
More nonstop action.
Yeah, you're called Total Nonstop Action. So I would like the totality to be 100. No commercial breaks. No commercial breaks. Need 100% nonstop action. That's what we need.
TNA Genesis is in 11 days. Have fun with that. AEW Dynamite. Yeah, it's on the 19th.
Oh, man. There's Battle in the Valley this week.
Oh, yeah, that is this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, first we have AEW Dynamite live on TBS, simulcast on HBO Max. Now it's just Max.
It's just Max, brother.
Live from the F&M Bank Arena. Fucking Mary Bank Arena. What is that? What is F&M? Frank and Morgan Bank Arena?
Frank and Morgan? Sure.
Okay. F&M Bank. Let's see what the F&M stands for. Doesn't say. Someone from Clarksville, tell me what the F&M is.
Oh, that's how they start the show. It's just live, like, Excalibur. It's Wednesday. You know what that means? Live from the F&M Bank Arena here in Clarksville, Tennessee. And Taz is like, what's F&M stand for?
Farmers and Merchants Bank.
That sounds terrible.
It is a community bank and has remained community focused since 1897.
I hope there's a giant cow in the middle of the ring to start this show. It's the insurance company. We are farmers. Dun, 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 dun.
They're not
and merchants.
It's definitely not them. Well, the problem is the first match on the list is a women's match, so I can't use. You were like, I hope they have a cow in the ring to start, and I'm like, well, I can't mention the women's match first. So let's start with Will Ospreay versus Buddy Matthews. Will Ospreay looking
Will
for
Ospreay and Buddy Matthews.
That's a match happening.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was announced last night.
I thought why is Will Ospreay doing this random ass match? Why isn't he in the Casino Gauntlet?
Because apparently Buddy Matthews wants to get back at Will Ospreay for his time in the Continental Classic, where he beat him. So
what? He beat him? When do you?
I don't know. Tony set it up.
He didn't beat him at all.
Tony explained the lore. Let's go to Tony Khan's Twitter page. So this is what happens when I don't get a 5-paragraph write-up on allelitewrestling.com.
Oh, he beat Brody King.
Oh, okay. Buddy Matthews aims for revenge versus the man who eliminated his partner from the C2 on Christmas, Will Ospreay. So are we just doing... is Will Ospreay going to have a match against Malachi Black at Maximum Carnage? Oh, Jesus, no!
No, this will be a good match. I look forward to.
Oh, I'm sure the match will be good. But Malachi and Will Ospreay is not a match I'm looking forward to.
That match ain't happening. Don't worry about it.
See what happens next. Bobby Lashley takes on Mark Briscoe. That's going to be funny. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be very funny to watch. Is Mark Briscoe going to get nerfed or what?
Probably. Like,
did Tony do a write-up for this one?
No, I don't remember.
No, it doesn't seem to have.
Okay. Tony's slipping.
Tony.
That my top 5.
Number 1 spot for the Women's Casino Gauntlet. They have announced that there is a Women's Casino Gauntlet that's going to be happening next week at Maximum Carnage. And it's going to be Toni Storm versus Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander tonight to determine who gets the number 1 spot in next week's Gauntlet match. Feels like Toni Storm's going to get the win on this one.
You think so? I don't think so.
I think she is, and I think she'll win the Gauntlet as Toni Storm to get the match at Grand Slam Australia.
I think she'll win the Gauntlet, but I don't think she needs to be in the number 1 spot.
Okay. I think that she's going to be the plucky underdog that everyone thinks can do it, and that's going to be it. People are saying it's Chris. I think it's going to be her.
But she keeps winning. How is she the plucky underdog if she just keeps winning?
She's a rookie. That's the whole thing. How can this rookie go as far as we possibly can as the number 1 seed in the Women's Casino match?
I'm curious as to who loses here. Because when they did Swerve and Roddy and Jay White, it's like, yeah, Roddy's taking this loss. Sorry, Roddy. But like, you ain't that important compared to the other 2. Doesn't feel like any of these 3 should really be taking the L here. That's why I think, like,
you got Toni Storm, who
I think she might lose this
on Saturday.
Yeah,
You've got Willow Nightingale, who lost to Athena at Dynasty. She ate the pin in that match. And then you've got Chris Statlander.
What? No.
Didn't she eat the pin?
Willow Nightingale?
Yeah.
Nope.
Who ate the pin in the match against Athena?
Athena.
Athena won the match.
Athena did not win that match.
Willow won the match?
Willow did not win that match. Momo Watanabe won that match.
Momo won the 4-way? Am I
Yeah,
thinking of the Stardom? And what am I thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of, but you are wrong. Hashtag Joel is wrong, everybody.
Huh, I must have watched a completely different clip.
You must have.
Wow. Was it a Stardom match?
I don't know what you were watching, but Athena lost that 4-way match to Momo because Tekla
Yeah,
got
no, Momo
involved.
won.
Yeah.
Huh. What did I miss?
I have no idea. You're on a different planet right now, Joel. Were you hanging out with Travis Scott before this show?
Should be. Anyway, Willow will probably lose this match, is what I'm saying, because Chris Stylander went and picked up a pigeon during her weekend off.
That ruled where she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a road trip for a big surprise," and people are like, "Oh man, is she gonna show up?" Like, no. Road trip implies like she's just gonna like drive somewhere, not take a cross country flight. You know, go cross ocean flight to Japan. Anyway,
All right, so maybe it was a Stardom match I'm thinking of.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, Joel's hating on AEW as I'm so confused. Joel just assumes Willow lost this match to somebody.
I mean, I was saying that she lost to another member of the AEW roster. So
Yeah, Athena's in ROH, brother.
Sure, whatever. They're all the
She ain't
same.
wrestled in ROH. She ain't wrestled an AEW match in like 2 years at this point.
Whatever. Point is, Tony's gonna win.
I don't know.
Chris will restart their feud.
Maybe, but
Which, by the way, I'm not in favor of. I don't think they need to re-pick up that feud. I'd rather they go and find new friends to play with.
Man, bless Chris. Like, she's trying with this. Like, I need to forgive, and I'm born again, Kristen, and I hope people can see that I was wrong and everything. I'm just like, I don't know. It's not that it doesn't feel authentic. It just doesn't it feels wasteful of what they did for the entire or the majority of 2024. It just feels a little wasteful because I don't think they leaned into her being like a heel enough. She was, but then it was dropped so quickly. And now I'm just like, that just felt like there's no gradualness to it. I just watched her interview with Renee up close with Renee Paquette, and it didn't hit with me. And I like Chris Stylander. I think she's fantastic. I'm just not connected with it.
Fair. I mean, she's always been the weird outsider. Like the thing that really tipped me off with Chris was the one promo she did with Willow where she had her pet Jub Boots, the iguana.
Right.
When I was like, why the fuck does she have her iguana here? And what does that have to do with literally anything? That was like one of those moments where I was like, okay, so I'm starting to get the feeling that people are just kind of doing whatever they want when they're on camera and no one's stopping them. Like, I get that there's a little open time to sure, bearded dragon. I don't give a shit. Jub. They call him Jub. They finally couldn't find her with the bowel obstruction that killed her. For those who know, you get it. It's a Simpsons reference. So, yeah, you should. But yeah, Disney Plus. Anyway, not important. To The Simpsons it is. But with Chris, doing that segment was like, you could have spent so much more working on the non-televised promos than allowing someone to go up with an iguana, a Jub, to do a promo like that. It's just, that was the moment where I was like, Chris is a little weird. And I get that that's okay. But also, like, what's the character at that point? That she's weird? Cool. Lean into weird. But she hasn't leaned into weird.
Thought she was an alien for the longest time.
No, they told you she was an alien. They didn't say, they never made you think she was. They just told you she was. There were no spaceships. There was no attempt to make you think that she was going to paint herself green, except for that one time when she did. But like, there was no character beyond what we told you she is. That's the thing with Chris that I really want her and others who are a little lost to work on. Willow Nightingale is like, there is a character there. She's very likable. She's a very friendly, badass woman who can kick your ass, but also smiles about it. Like, she stands her ground. Like, she's a white meat babyface for all intents and purposes. With Chris, is just, I haven't seen it yet. Tony Storm's current character, it's hokey, but it works because people are willing to go along with it for the sake of the story that's happening. Same thing with Timeless Toni Storm. People were willing to go ahead with it because she had lost her marbles, but she was the champion. She was on a tear, so on and so forth. I'm just waiting for that moment when Chris Statlander is more than more than just another woman. The joke. Yeah. That's what I'm waiting for with Chris, because I think she's a stellar talent. I think she's very good at wrestling, but I just haven't seen the character of Chris Statlander come out yet.
Oh, I think they had that with her as a heel, and then the Stokely pairing, and that fell apart. And then they tried to reverse course on everything. I would have just kind of preferred if they just kept her a heel. Like, if you didn't want to keep her with Stokely, fine. But I think her as a heel, like, doing kind of like, yeah, I'm this big badass who wrecks people and is not afraid to get my hands dirty a little bit. I think that worked for her. Like, that was she was good in that role. And I think Stokely added to the presentation. Again, it fell apart in the way they dropped it. And then it just became, oh, well, that's not actually who I am. I'm actually this very nice person. And now I need everybody to forgive me for everything. Like,
You know what? I got it. Dr. Statlander. It's like Dr. Doolittle. She comes out, she talks to animals. She talks to animals. She can converse with animals. She has conversations with animals. She brings Boots back, brings back Jub. They have a chat. It brings back that pigeon that she got.
This is how we get the cow in the ring for this episode.
That's the cow.
Show opens with the giant cow in the ring, and all of a sudden Chris Statlander can just speak to this animal.
That's it. Every week she has a new animal that she speaks to. Chris Statlander is now a doctor. We did it.
Well, they already got a doctor, so
I don't know where she's been. Jeff Jarrett will appear.
Hell yeah.
Isn't
he supposed to be in the Casino Gauntlet?
Yeah, he's in the Casino Gauntlet match. MJF to appear live.
Okay, that's fine.
I guess he's also not in the Casino Gauntlet. Or maybe he is, and he just has a promo being like, see you tonight.
And he should be in the Casino Gauntlet, right? He said he's going to try to get his title back. This is a pretty easy way to earn a title match.
Casino Gauntlet match is tonight. Number one entrant is Jay White. I was thinking of the same group. Jay White is the number one entrant. We know Powerhouse Hobbs will be a part of it. And
Powerhouse.
Jeff Jarrett will allegedly be a part of it because he's going to appear. And we'll see. I don't know who's going to come out of the winner of this thing. Your Brody King analysis was a pretty good one, but we'll find out soon.
Yeah, that's I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with Brody King wins and sets up Brody King and Jon Moxley for next week, because Brody King's like a fine 1 week challenger for Jon Moxley.
And again, they're going to be in Cincinnati.
What about Cope? You think Cope is going to win?
There is a part of me that thinks he should or could, just so we can get through this and not do it at Revolution. But it feels like they're going to do that at Revolution.
So we'll find out. Tune in live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, TBS, or Max. You can simulcast now on Max.
Does this mean Moxley might not even be going to Australia?
I don't know what they're doing for Australia. I don't know if they know what they're doing.
They don't. And the only reason I'm asking this is because this Casino Gauntlet match for the men is for the shot next week at a Maximum Carnage. But then the women's Casino Gauntlet match is for a shot at the Women's World Championship at Grand Slam Australia. I'm not saying that they would be on par at the same time, that they should both be Casino Gauntlet matches for those, for those Grand Slam matches. But there's a part of me that's like, maybe they just won't have a world title match if they're hoping that Toni Storm versus Mariah May is like big enough. And then maybe they do a big, continental championship match or a big international championship match. Do they have an international champion? Is he still around? Is he working for another company? He's got 3 contracts.
Yeah, it rules.
It does rule. I just don't know where he is right now in the world. But maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a Takeshita match that's a big draw to do in Australia. Takeshita versus Jay White.
Jay White might be getting the title shot against Moxley on that show.
We'll see.
Kenny Omega back tonight.
Kenny Omega is back tonight. I was waiting to do that. No, I was waiting to do that last because the conversation here has been, is he there or is he filming? Is he doing a filmed vignette?
Nobody had this conversation.
We had it
You
last
had this.
on Monday.
You had this conversation with yourself.
No, we had someone in the chat who was going to the show and asking, will Kenny actually be there? Because others are being, quote, appearing live, and Kenny is returning. So that opened up a conversation of what is Kenny doing, or where will Kenny be on Wednesday?
It's going to be in the F&M arena, riding in on a cow.
Will he be ready? Will he be the farmer or the merchant? The merchant of Omega.
He's going to reunite with Hangman. It's going to be F&M, farmer and merchant. Hangman's he's going to drop the cowboy, and he's going to now be a farmer.
Oh, I thought he was going to ride the cow. Oh, he was going to ride the horse in, and Kenny's going to bring the cow.
No, Hunter Horse Helmsley died.
That's right. I did remember that. Don't use live animals at wrestling shows, people, especially if you have pyro. It's not a good idea.
Kenny Omega should just come out tonight. Just be like, just give me this AEW title. Knock this shit off.
Using my EVP status to reset. Everyone give me your titles. Everyone come here.
They tried that in WCW, and that's like the worst episode ever.
When are they in Colorado next? Let's find out. Events. Let's see. AEW. You coming to Colorado? Nope. Texas? Phoenix?
I don't think they announced anything for Colorado.
Nope, nothing in Colorado. Talk to Will Washington. Let's figure this out. Gonna take those titles back. Dynamite after Revolution. Fresno, California. They're gonna take all the titles, repurpose them. Cope's gonna win the world title at Revolution and then have to give it up 3 nights later.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds perfect.
They did that last year. Why are they gonna do that again?
Why not? So that's AEW Dynamite for tonight. From the Farmers and Merchants.
By the way, use the hashtag Jeremy was right about the Young Bucks defending their titles in Osaka against Hiromu and Naito, and not at Battle in the Valley. Hashtag Jeremy was right.
We very quickly discovered that it was not going to be a Battle in the Valley. Yes.
Yeah, but we very quickly discovered it because hashtag Jeremy was right and Joel was wrong.
I mean, Joel wasn't wrong. Joel just thought that the Young Bucks had a match opening for that show.
So Joel was wrong.
Joel was not wrong. I didn't commit to anything. God damn it.
Hashtag Joel was wrong.
You suck. All right, you got anything else to plug, you dick?
Dynamite should be fine tonight. Casino Gauntlet's always, a fun little gimmick. I really hope they're not going to do. I mean, I know they're literally doing it next week, but they may need to take a break from it.
Maybe a year-long break.
They're not going to wait a year. They're going to do it again.
I want someone, just once. I want someone to exercise that come on, self-control, self-constraint. 1 year moratorium. We're done. Next week, no more Casino Gauntlet matches until 2026. We're done here. Till all in Texas. Let's face it.
Nah. The next one might be Double or Nothing, brother.
Son of a bitch. That's May.
Yeah. If they can hold off till May, I'll give them a golf clap.
Yeah, that Chris Jericho movie has been talked about for a little while, Xeno Hour. It's now, I guess, announced officially or whatever.
Good for him.
Yes. Dark Match. It is a horror movie. If you ever watch Talk or listen to Talk is Jericho, Jericho loves 3 things: music, unsolved crimes, and really bad jokes from Chris Jericho.
Oh, sorry.
No, because really bad jokes from Guns N' Roses bass players.
Oh.
Sure as shit doesn't love wrestling.
How dare you? He says it every time he does an interview that he would retire if he doesn't love anymore. He's still having fun.
Maybe he can have fun taking a lifetime off. Anyway, anything else to plug before we get out of here? Back on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, allegedly. We'll make it. If you make it too, we'll see you there. 10 a.m. Let's do that. Leave Duff out of this. No, the Duff McKagan joke of the week is garbage. It's not funny.
How dare you?
If you listen to them, they're not good.
They're just like dad jokes.
He hits 1 in 10.
They're
1
fine.
in 10. No, they're not.
This is not dad jokes, Joel.
No. 10 a.m. Eastern, Friday. We'll be back to talk about Dynamite and whatever else drops between now and then. Jeremy Lambert, I am Joel Pearl. The Joel Pearl on Blue Sky. That's the one. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.